Welcome to That's Good Craic.
With me, Dan, Colin.
How is? What's the crack?
And Mick.
Yo, yo, yo.
Listen to our podcast every 2 weeks.
Welcome to episode number 19 of our podcast, That's Good Craic. My name is Colin. I'm here with Danny and Mick. And yeah, we've been away for a little while, but now we're back and we hope to keep producing more and more content for you. We apologise for if you're a follower of our podcast and we haven't been putting out so much content lately, but it's all Danny's fault. So
yeah, Danny, it sucks.
Fucking hell.
straight in off the bat, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll take it on the chin, lads. You know what I mean? Because that's the way I roll. Like,
you take him on for the team. I have to say, Danny, you're looking fairly fresh there.
Just said that to him. Fucking looking trim there, man.
Thanks very much. Fucking doing a lot of boot camp, man, the last while, 5 days a week.
That's what it is. You're looking trimmer. Your face is looking fresher and trimmer.
Yeah, I've been fucking... I missed... You know what? It's torture, man. I swear to God, the first 3 days, I was like, this is the most... I don't even know how I'm going to... Like, I was like, how did I get so unfit? Like, do you know what I mean? How did I get... Like, I was like... I was probably the youngest person there, man. And I was choking. Like, I was... You know, burpees came in and I was just, like, ready to choke, like. And still I struggle with the burpees, but, like, I definitely starting to get fit. I can feel fitness coming in. And I'm going to give... when I get time back in and start doing Krav Maga, see what that's like. It looks interesting.
Holy Jesus. That's some nasty shit, that Krav Maga.
Poke some guys in the eye.
Hey, I worked in a photo studio in London with a guy, right? He was a Polish guy, and he started doing Krav Maga. And where the photo studio was down in East Ham. Or no, actually, it wasn't in East Ham. It was in Hackney, but he lived in East Ham. And he was East Ham is rough as fuck, man. You know, it's a rough spot. And he was telling me he was coming home one night and two lads tried to rob him. So he took his keys and stuck them in your man's eyes.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ.
He trained Krav Maga, like, you know. That's what he did. He just told me, well,
that's a beginner's move in Krav Maga.
He destroyed the guy.
It's like, all right,
but the guys had knives. They were trying to the guys had knives. They were trying to rob him. I mean, it's pretty.
He just throw into the guy that's training the boot camp. He's like I think a black belt in Krav Maga, and he's he's the main trainer here on the island, and he's because we do like 3 days on the beach and then 2 days in the gym, and some days in the gym he just throw in bits of like stress testing and self defense, like taking knives off him, like, do you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And I was like,
sticking keys in their eyes and
stuff. Yeah, that was lesson one. Do you know what I mean? It was like everyone stood in a line and you got to key everyone.
do you have safety keys, like keys with corks on the end of them, and you just like, you know, poke each other with them and shit? You know, it's like,
no, what the key bends when it hits your eye.
Rubber keys.
I think it's great for women, though. Like, I mean, for you know. For maybe someone that might be a bit weaker and just needs to be able to disable someone quickly. At the end of the day, if someone pulls a knife or a gun on you, I ain't going to try to take it off them. I'm gone like a bullet.
Listen, I'm going to have a little rant here, right? Do you know, when you're talking about stuff like this, you know, I have a daughter, you know, and I got her personal self-defense lessons, all that type of stuff. And I'd still worry, you know, like, you know, she has a new job, she cycles to it, it's dark, you know what I mean? You know, I just don't like it, you know. Thankfully, she's in the process of getting her full license and stuff like that, and she'll have a car, but in the meantime, she doesn't. And like, I really think, this is just myself personally, that pepper spray should be legal. That's just my thing, you know what I mean? I know it's a weapon and all that, but in my estimation, like you said, Colin, Krav Maga is all well and good, but there's still the percentages of a lot of people who are, like, you know what I mean, like female people or people who are weaker and stuff like that. The chances of them being able to successfully defend an attack, a serious physical attack, is very small, like, you know what I mean? And I just think, you know, pepper spray, yes, if you pepper spray someone in the wrong, it's going to be 20 minutes of agony. But still, on the other side, if someone hasn't got the chance to defend themselves properly, I just think for the amount of people that have the proper chance to defend themselves, because you spray that into someone's eye, doesn't matter how big they are, they're hitting the deck and you have the chance to get away. Yeah. I just think it should be legal. I don't think other things should be. I'm not into guns, not into, you know, all that type of stuff. I just think for people who are vulnerable. They are vulnerable, like, you know. I just think it would be a solution to it. But anyway, that's my rant over.
Next time I'm in Thailand, I'll get her one.
No, this is actually being recorded. Call, you know, this is something you tell me off air.
or I mean, I don't give a fuck. It's not like it's. I don't, is it that?
That was a joke, folks. That was a joke.
I don't know if it's illegal. I think it's more frowned upon. You know.
No, it's illegal. Dude. It's illegal. Yeah, and no, yeah.
So tell me, did any of you use drugs or get drunk in the past few weeks? No.
No. It's funny enough. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, no?
Yeah. What you call it? Still 12 years. Yeah. No. But listen. Now, in fairness, right? With this was all started, and we do go off topic as we just shown there. Fair enough. You know what I mean? But we did kind of start this as a way of kind of showing that, yes, listen, you can have good crack without using drink or drugs. And I just think, you know, even Colin, myself and yourself brought our two lovely partners out for a night out there the week before last, and we met up in Dublin. And just to show a night that you can have out, you know, drink and drug free, we met up in Dublin. And we went to the Stella Cinema in Rathmines, and it's just a phenomenal place. It's this Victorian theatre that they did up into a cinema. It's beautifully done up. You have leather couches, leather seats, like recliners, all your individual thing. It's done up like really, really well. So comfortable, and you get your food brought down to you by a waiter and your drinks and all that type of stuff. And
they have beds there too.
Yeah, the beds there. Yeah,
beds, double couches, leather recliners, footstools, a little table with a lamp.
I literally will never go to another cinema again. If I don't see it in that cinema, I don't see the movie in a cinema. I'll wait till I see it at home. I'm not joking. It's that good.
We're not getting paid for this promotion.
Exactly. Yeah, we should be. We're not.
I'd still go.
And sorry, but if anyone from Stella Cinema is listening,
I think of it free tickets.
Yeah, no problem.
Hold on there. I'll still go.
Out, no problem.
I'll hit the $5 Tuesday here in my hometown. All right, you know where the tickets are €5.
Right.
That's a good deal.
How much is this cinema to go to, man? I'm lucky if I get to see an English-speaking movie here, man.
Sure, 20 quid a head, but it's worth it. Like
that's just for Stella, yeah, that's 20 quid
good,
a head.
man,
for
but it's an experience.
Like it's not just. It is absolutely an experience. I was sitting down. It's one of those moments. It was like the flotation tank where I was just kind of sitting there going, I can't believe I'm this lucky. I genuinely, I just had the gratitude of being in the position where I was actually able to go there. Fantastic. We then went across town. Another advantage of not drinking, just jumped in our cars, went across town, went to a lovely restaurant in Smithfield in Dublin.
Give it a shout out. What's the name of it again?
It is Thundercut Alley. I have called it Thundercat Alley for a couple of years now, and I've been there like a lot. And
but the food is fucking amazing, huh?
Phenomenal! Really
next level shit.
Really, really cool, funky place. And so we went there, and then jumped in our cars again and flew across town to the Virgin Mary, the bar, the non-alcoholic bar that is opened up on Capel Street in Dublin that we talked about. We said go back, and we did. Went in and had some mocktails, and it was lovely. It's actually a lot better. The vibe is lovely in the place. There was a great crowd. The lighting was really nice. It was lovely and comfortable. Cool tunes. But just to show a night, it was an absolutely fantastic night. And no drink, no drugs, no trouble. And jumped in our cars then, and we're able to drive home. Like, we don't live in Dublin, and we were able to drive the hour home, whatever like that, was no problem. And get into our beds and content. But I just said I'd throw it in there because, in fairness, we should be shown the amount of stuff we do that we don't actually speak about on this podcast. You know what I mean? We kind of do get caught a lot talking about poking people in the eyes with keys and pepper spraying, But, I just said I'd throw that in there anyway.
No,
the house sounds like you've been living it up, lads.
I don't know if you call it living it up, but it was good crack, like, and it is actually, it is. It's it's really nice. It's nice to do stuff like that every now and again, and get out and not be so obsessed with fucking everyday stuff and that. But
last week I also went to like the biggest festival in Ireland, like
I've seen that
festival in Electric Picnic.
Not jealous.
And I hope you are. I like
Dermo. You went to see Dermo Kennedy?
Did you go see the streets?
Really fucking jealous.
No,
man.
and I didn't, Colin, and he was phenomenal. I heard.
Why would you not go see the streets?
Because we had to go home, mate. We didn't get to see him. We were gone. Like, you know what I mean? We would have. It's on the list.
It's the only guy, right, from my kind of not childhood, but early 20s, teenage, early 20 years, him and Dr. Dre, that I really want to see live. I've seen all the rest of them live.
Lots of me mates have told me literally it was their highlight, the highlight of the festival. He was.
I'm sure he's class, man. He's a class act, like.
Yeah.
Mike Skinner.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. But just to say another thing, like, you know what I mean, to be able to go. And, wasn't drinking. And it was funny enough, a friend of mine, himself and his wife, they both like a drink, they've no issues, no problems, around like that. Really nice people. And they had gone, but my friend was driving his son to college the next day on the Sunday, and he didn't drink. And he actually rang me about it. This is the first time it ever happened. He said literally it was the best. He's been there the last 10 years at that festival. And he said literally it was the best day he had in the 10 years. He said normally, because there would be a gang of them drinking, they would be in the same spot for like 5 hours. Because there's so many, you can't get everyone together to move, so everyone kind of stays and you're just chatting and drinking, and that was it. He said he got around, he's seen like, about 10 different bands in the day and all this, and he got to see the streets, like, and that was it, and that was his highlight, but I just thought it was cool to hear, like, and in fairness to me, mate, like, he doesn't go out of his way to try and impress me or fill me with shit, to kind of make me, so it was a genuine kind of thing, I was going, yeah, that's cool, because I had the same experience. Said my partner just did her own thing for the whole weekend. We'd seen loads of bands and had lots of fun, I even got up and sang.
I've seen that, all right.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it, like, but I seen it.
Yeah, guy, a local singer-songwriter. I was actually in a songwriting group with him years ago, and really nice guy. And we just stopped watching him. I wasn't thinking anything at all. Like, and next minute he goes, Mick, do you want to go up for a song? And I just went, yeah, fuck it, So it was cool. Really, really good experience. I can always say, like, I finally got to play the Electric Picnic.
Nice one.
So, yeah. No,
and Dermot Kennedy.
Dermot was phenomenal. Dermot Kennedy, an Irish singer-songwriter, and phenomenal band, a phenomenal drummer, man. I know, like, Dermot's very, very talented, but the drummer is, like, you need to watch this guy live. It's just unbelievable. The crowd he got. He said, just to see how someone's life can change. 3 years ago, last year he was playing Electric Picnic to 50 people. There was 10,000 at it. There was 10,000 at it on the night that he was playing, and he was saying that last year I played to 50 people, and he said the year before that he was trying to break in because he hadn't got a ticket.
We've all been there, eh?
Yeah. No, I was too lazy to do that shit, right?
I tried going up with someone else's wristband on the Sunday one year, and your man said to me, I tell you now, turn around and walk away, or I'll put you into the back of the van, drive 5 miles out the road and let you out there. I was like, all right, man, relax, will you?
Yeah, there are some heads at it like that, in fairness.
Drive you kidnap me. He technically said he was going to kidnap me and drop me 5 miles out the road.
He might have put you in the van, gave you a fucking tea and sandwiches, dropped you out the road. You never know. Like.
That would have been grand, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no worries. Tea, sandwiches. Yeah, bring us out the road.
You wouldn't drop me to Carlo.
Yeah, just once you head towards Carlo, cool.
You're on the way there now. You might as well go the full fucking hog.
That's it.
Jesus. Yeah, fucking hell, lad. Sounds like you've had a bit of a blast, all right. I've been doing, so I was at a group of Dublin lads came over. One lad was celebrating 20 years after drinking drugs, and went out for dinner with them, and that was quite nice. And
the bowled out chalky.
Yeah, good lad. Like, do you know what I mean? It was a big group of them from Liverpool and from Dublin. It was a nice buzz, and just they came over and they were enjoying fucking, drug and alcohol free life. They were doing different trips and boat trips and enjoying themselves. And what have I been up to? I managed to do a bit of scuba diving, which I haven't done in a while, which has been fun. Yeah, it was deadly, man. There was about 3 turtles. I seen a fucking good few rays and a big fucking butterfly ray, man. There's nothing more. For me, like the most beautiful ray. They're like fucking huge. They're just flat, and when they move, they just curl up the edges of their fucking fins and they just glide. They look like it's just like
spaceship.
Yeah, it's just like a spaceship, man. You're under the water and you're looking at them going, this is fucking amazing. Like, just amazing stuff, like,
I've seen one. I seen one on the Great Barrier Reef, but I couldn't tell you which type of one. They're
same
fast,
as, man. I'm just thinking that here, man. I've seen several on the Barrier Reef when they went diving there, but I couldn't.
It's a mad world, isn't it?
I actually have me log. I may look at it because I did the log after, like, of what we saw, like, you know what I mean? And it's 2001 now, so, you know, I can't remember last week.
Jesus, that was a long time ago, no?
Yeah, man, 2001 I was scuba diving on the Barrier Reef.
How about 2020, you go scuba diving on the Barrier Reef again?
Yeah, 2021.
2000. I can do 2021 January.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
January 2021. We revisit the Barrier Reef to try and find us.
Lad, it's just something that's clicking in my head. And when you were talking there, like, you know what I mean, we're all back up now. Like, you know what I mean, you're training really well. I know Colin, like, you know what I mean, you're back, like, nailing the running and all that. I'm back at me jiu-jitsu, and you know, even today, like, you know what I mean, I got back on me morning pages. No more harping on about them, but it just totally changed me. I was gone, like, you know what I mean, it was under a bit of pressure, works wise, all this different stuff. My head was a bit wrecked. Did him totally game changer. Anyway, I was just thinking about consistency. Like, we have these answers, like, you know what I mean, we talk about on the podcast, and, you know, it's funny how it goes kind of cyclical, that we, like, you know what I mean, we can kind of go down a bit, you know what I mean, with the consistency around, you know, self-care, exercise, whatever it may be. And, like, it's just, what's, like, you know, do you struggle with consistency, like, you know what I mean, or is it, you know, is it just me?
I struggle with consistency with fucking everything, you know what I mean? I find I struggle to get the balance. Like you said, right, typical example there. So I start running, and I ran 150 kilometers in 3 weeks. And I got my time down. The biggest run I done was 18K. And
you sent it on to me. Yeah.
I got my time down to 5 minutes 16 per kilometer. It's not that fast. Like, my brother sent me a screenshot of his last one. Now, he done 25K, and he done it at 4.5 minutes per kilometer. Like, that's serious pace, like, you know.
But, and but Jamie's being consistent with it, is he?
No, he goes in and out of it, man. He hadn't run in ages.
He always was a beast, though, in fairness, like.
It just fits, yeah. So, but I now ran that much, and also while I was running that, I was in the gym in the morning time doing high intensity cardio workouts, like, so I was doing maybe 3 hours of exercise a day, and now my hip is really fucking killing me, like, you know what I mean? I kind of forgot that I'm in my mid-30s, you know what I mean, and I have a pain in my hip, and I'm afraid to go back out just in case, like, I really do some severe damage.
Yes. Stretch and roll,
yeah. But maybe, I definitely felt better and later. But I do struggle with consistency. That's me.
Yeah, me. Sorry, I was when you were talking about the running, I was just interested to look back at the pace I had for the marathon. I couldn't remember. But
are you going to tell us?
Yeah, tell us.
I can't figure it out. It says a pace here, but I can tell you, I did the. I just look at it and tell nothing. Like, I did the 10K in 48 minutes, and then the half marathon was in an hour and 43 minutes, and then the 30K mark was 2 hours 34 minutes, and then I finished in 4 hours and 2 minutes. So I'm not.
So 10K is for 48 minutes. So what's that? 4 minutes and what per?
4.8 per.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
on
a good
10
pace, man.
10K.
But you're
then-
big and tall. You should be easy able to knock that out, man, with the stride. No,
Yeah,
I'm
I was
not
pushing
joking.
around 100 kilo at the time, man.
It is.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
But
not
you know what?
tall. I'm not fucking tall, like skinny
thin.
tall. You know what I mean? I'm,
Yeah, that's
you know
true. Yeah.
Yeah, 100 and fucking something kilo there, man. You know? Ramming it around the fucking 42.
And then there's the wind resistance. You know, like
Yeah,
in a
my
way, it's
ears.
like, yeah. It's,
Yeah, I got big ears, man. They catch the wind.
I wasn't getting a dig at you, man. You know what I mean? It was actually
That's
just
right.
your mass, you know.
But I enjoy that. I enjoy that 5 minute pace. You know what I mean? That 5 minute pace is a nice long run. You know, like a good. You just find that zone, and you feel like you've worked hard after when you're pushing around that time. You know, my goal was 4:30 per k for a 10 kilometer. But like I said, I've hurt myself. Where I'm falling short is the first 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers are slow.
Yeah.
You know, so what I was thinking to do is go out and do 3 kilometers and then do 10k on the clock, you know. That would suit me to the ground. I need to put in a 5 minute on the first one. Anyway, not to get into it, but yeah, overall I do struggle with keeping it going because I keep getting injured. You know, you have to manage yourself. You have to manage your body, you know.
But for me, like consistent. If I have a goal, I'm really like. I think since I kind of gave up drinking drugs, if I have a goal, I'm really good at fucking pushing for that goal. Do you know what I mean? Like when I wanted to do the marathon, I was consistent. I stopped, like weekends were gone. I was fucking getting up. I was doing my long run at 5 o'clock in the morning here because obviously it was in September and the temperatures were like 35 degrees. So getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning and doing the long run wasn't an option because by about once you're 3.5 hours in, because you're doing like a 30 to 35k run once a week, and if it was like fucking 35 degrees belting down your back, it's torture. Like, so when I was training for it. Yeah, so literally I was consistent. I was about 70 to 80k a week. And it was just fucking, and I consistently kept to it, I stuck to it. And if I have kind of a plan, I generally stick to it. But it has to be some sort of goal. And I think that's why I struggle with this. I'm not too bad actually with this exercising at the moment, because it's like, if I have to kind of do a gym, I kind of get bored because there's no fucking, you know, like lifting weights. I don't feel like I'm doing it for. Does this make sense? I don't feel like I'm doing it for anything. Like, and I found myself like walking up steps and feeling like I was getting, you know, I could hear my breathing was getting heavier, and like doing this training, I have a kind of goal. I want to get my cardio back up, and I want to get back into some sort of fight training, like, because I like fight training, but I don't want to go back to fight training without a bit of decent cardio and level of fitness. And yeah, so I think if I have, and with the meditation, then I can see the results of consistent meditation, if that makes sense. So it keeps me doing it. And part of my ego keeps me doing it as well at times. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I think if I have something to aim for, then my consistency is easier to keep. But if it's just consistency for the sake of being consistent, I struggle with, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like as you talk about even the meditation, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I haven't been able to maintain the meditation, and again, you know, around the morning pages, you know, I just had a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff around work. You know what I mean? Kind of big decisions to make, and you know, a lot of change happening, a lot of dealing with different types of people, and you know, trust issues with different people, all this type of stuff was going on. So I had a busy head. I just had a busy head, and you know, just my tolerance, you know, it was okay, but I was edgy, you know, and it was actually my partner suggested it to me. She said, like, you know, do you think you're doing pages? And I'm up very early in the morning. This is when I gets it to me if I'm working a bit further away, I have that little bit less time, and but I kind of readjusted things, organised a bit more stuff the night before, got up and did them today. It's just a game changer. It was just like, straight away, I was just like, why haven't I been doing this? This is the thing, I know that it's that beneficial, but yet consistency. I struggle with the consistency, you know. I do go back quickly though. I have to give myself that, you know what I mean? I'm not going around in a mess, like, you know what I mean? I do know I have solutions to stuff, like, you know what I mean? I have like built them up, and even around the jits I got injured, those different things happen, but I've gotten back at it now and again. So much care has to go into it for me in the jiu-jitsu, like because very physical job, my age 41, and I really have to take care of myself, you know, because if I get injured, that messes me work up, messes everything up. But
you really have to be careful with work, don't you? Like, your job is physical.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I get an injury there, and it costs me a lot of money. It costs me a lot of money.
I can always stretch it, like, because I just have to be able to sit down and move my hands, you know, that kind of way. But just thinking there, as you said, it could be costly, like very financially very costly for you.
Very costly. Like, you know, I said last time I got a back injury at it, I was 2.5 weeks off.
Jesus.
And you know, you're trying to, like, you know, it's very, very difficult. Like, thankfully, it was okay. Like, you know what I mean? I'm okay if it happens, but it's still, it's not something you want to be doing. It's like, you know, it's very, very expensive. And like, so it is that kind of thing where some people call me crazy maybe for taking this hobby up, you know what I mean? But I just really enjoy it. It's really good for me. And it's really good for my mind, you know. Is it cathartic? Is that what you call it when I go and, you know, have some rolls, you know what I mean? It's really, really good.
Well, we're basically talking about here overall is mental health, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You know, absolutely.
It's like, it's always a mental health issue, you know. I can struggle just like with stupid shit, you know what I mean? When it comes to that, but exercise is always a great release. But then, you know, I found when I was doing too much exercise, it had the opposite effect on my mood. I was exhausted, I was tired, I was grumpy, you know. I should probably just set out like a 5K or a 6 or 8K or something 4 times a week, 3 times a week, and just stick to that, you know, rather than, because it does really, really make me feel better when mentally, like when I'm exercising.
Well, I think what Danny was saying about having a goal, I just from the bit I know about you, I couldn't see you being happy with just that, you know.
No, I'm a goal-oriented person.
You know, it was just like, you know what I mean? I couldn't see you in 10 years' time, like, knocking out the 5K and coming in, sorted now. You know?
5K is nothing. When I say it, you know what I mean? I would be so unhappy with myself if my life turned out like that. You know, how you get that? Just under 5K. There was a lad that I used to work with on the ship, you know what I mean? When I was working at sea, and this guy used to be putting up on Facebook all the time how he went out and done 5K, and I was just like, well, fuck off, would you? You know? I don't. He was a cunt, though. Sorry, excuse my language. But he was. Excuse my language. I'm Irish. We're allowed, you know.
It is a word that is quite used a lot, and it offends.
Common, man.
My mother hates the word. Like she hates that word. Like here in Ireland, like she's English, so for her it's like oh, you know what I mean. But for
I was gonna say, like, I was just no. Some people do have an issue. Like, American people seemingly is a very, very bad.
Well, Australians use it a lot.
Yeah, that's just a general term. Like, you know what I mean, you can't.
But it doesn't sound like a word, does it? No, it's not.
But no, this guy was an absolute dick. Anyway, sorry, I retract the cunt word and I bring him as an absolute.
I remember when I started running, man, and I was like, and fucking 5K, I swear to God, felt like a fucking marathon. And I remember the particular run that was a 5K, and I remember when I started, and someone said to me, says, right, that's a 5K fucking run, yeah. Even if you can't run it, you walk it. You walk the bits you can't run.
Legs.
You know what I mean?
No,
but and like, walk, run, and then eventually I was able to run them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I mean, difficulty level 5K is easy to get to run. That's all. Anyone can do that. And then I think if you get to 5K comfortably, you can easily run 10K. You know, if you can comfortably run 10K, I think you do 15 and so on. Like it's. But this guy used to be going on. He was talking about doing Ironman competitions and all because he was doing this 5 kilometer run.
That's the warm up for an Ironman.
It is the warm up. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing for me, man. Like when I started back at this boot camp, man, I was starting that stuff. I was like, I was thinking, geez, some of this stuff was just a fucking warm up when I was doing the MMA. You know what I mean? I was choking, man. I was physically ready to get sick. Like, it's getting better bit by bit, but a long mile off the fitness. And for me, my consistency ended, like you said, with an injury. A year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I'm trying to think, 2 years ago actually, I fractured my spine, man, in 4 places, 4 lower vertebrae. And I couldn't walk, man. That was and it really put me nervous about getting back into like fight training, you know what I mean? Particularly like MMA, because the level change from, you know, the takedowns to the solid ground, like, do you know what I mean? And just that sort of stuff just scared me, and it just made me think as well about that time. I remember the fucking medication I was on, man.
I was literally going to just say, to jump in on that there, for you to just elaborate on how you actually felt, because I was listening to a guy talking about this at a kind of a group thing the other day, talking about medication and while he was in recovery, and his was antidepressants. But So I'd be interested to hear how you handled that situation, or how you were within that, you know.
Well, one of the biggest things for me is because I'm in recovery, I have to be honest with the doctors that are, for me, this is for me personally, and this is my opinion, and I speak for myself, is that when I go to a doctor and a doctor is looking after me, I make it very clear what I am. I'm an addict. I don't want to get hooked to anything. I don't want medication based. So I'm going to tell you right now, only give me stuff if it's definitely needed. You know what I mean? And avoid anything that's going to be addictive. So when I fractured my spine, the first thing, I was in so much fucking pain, man. I was struggling getting out of bed. Like, I was struggling to move my legs. I couldn't drive my car. It was just fucking agony, yeah. And it was just not nice. And they brought me into the hospital, and straight away they put me on a drip. I don't know what was in the drip, man, but I was definitely out of it, like, because I just remember, like, the pain went, I felt okay, and I couldn't stop fucking laughing, right? And I was like, I do not want to be on this for very long. Next day they checked me out, and I was given like I was never into prescription drugs, so it was never something that I got heavily into, you know what I mean? And so I didn't know anything about it, like, do you know what I mean? So I got these like 4 different packets of drugs, and he said, take this at this time, this at this. So I had all these different times to take these drugs, yeah, and it was like, and there was no way I was not going to take something to kill this pain. And I rang a friend of mine who's also happens to be in recovery, and I said, look, do you know what this stuff is? And I told him the list of stuff that I had, and he goes, fucking hell, man, that's some strong shit. And I was like, okay. I says, I have to take it. He says, well, look, take it for as long as you need to, and as long as you can't, you know, the pain becomes, you know, as in, when you can bear the pain enough, I would advise you to start cutting back on these and getting rid of them completely. So I never finished the course. When I started to feel less and less pain, I was like, I don't need this, I don't need that. And then I think it was about a week I was taking them. They were prescribed to me for a month, and I knew what they were. There was tramadol, there's some other stuffs, and I was like, and I didn't like the feeling, man. I felt fucking drowsy all the time. Do you know what I mean? But
tramadol is basically fucking heroin, like prescription.
And I took the 2 of them together, and I took this and some other stuff that they gave me, and I was taking it, and I was like, I didn't like the feeling, I didn't like the way I was feeling during it, but it was that versus not fucking excruciating pain, man, in my back. And I stopped taking it very, very, very quickly, and that was the end of it, like. But I took it based, the way I see it is, I took it because I was prescribed it, the guy was aware I was an addict, and I was in a lot of fucking pain. And when I stopped taking it on the basis of, you know, I wasn't taking it anymore because the pain wasn't bad enough for me not to bear, if that makes sense. And for me, you know, that, in my opinion, is the right way to approach it. You know what I mean? I stopped very quick, and I fucked all the tablets away, and that was the end of it, like, you know. And that's really it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
and I didn't have any guilt about it. I didn't feel shit about it. I didn't feel like I used.
No, but you shouldn't, though. I I took strong painkillers before when I cracked my ribs or broke my ribs. One of the times I broke them twice. And one of the times I broke it, I was in absolute agony. I couldn't even fucking move for 3 days, stuck in the one spot. The first break was bad. The second one, I think maybe it wasn't as bad. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's not.
It's like
not
someone
fucking,
stabbing in the chest, doesn't it?
It's not a joke, man.
Horrible.
But I think, like, to back it up a bit, I suppose, because there's going to be people listening, I'm sure, that don't have issues with these things, and they're going, of course you're going to fucking take, you know what I mean, whatever, like you crack vertebrae you had, or like, you know what I mean, or, you know, crack or broken ribs or whatever it may be. And I suppose just to kind of explain it to people that when you have had substance abuse issues, like, you know what I mean, when you've been addicted to things or you have that type of personality, and then you've been away from it, whether like it's a prescribed drug or it's a street drug, of course they're going to have different effects. But like Colin said, tramadol, for instance, is a very strong opiate. And it's like that can trigger things in certain people, and it could be a case where it'd be very easily, like, you know what I mean, if you didn't have your wits about you, or, you know what I mean, you weren't being honest about it, it could end up, and it has done for many people, ended up where they have had issues with that and led on to other things, into relapse on street drugs, whatever it may be. And like, so it's always with caution that people with, like, you know what I mean, the likes of our experience, you know, would tread around this stuff. There are some people then, because of that would have a blanket ban. They would just go like, no, I don't care what it is, my leg's hanging off, you know what I mean, I've dislocated my shoulder, my, like, you know what I mean, I've gotten a metal rod stuck in my eye, no, I won't take a paracetamol. Like, there's that extreme, and then there's the other thing. And like, I think the way you talked about it, Danny, was just very sensible, you know. And you know, I'd feel the same way myself, I'm sure. Like, I mean, I had a bad back injury myself, and not that bad, in fairness. But like, I was nearly 2 months out of action. Couldn't put me on shoes or socks on. Couldn't sleep in a bed. And you know, and it was a tough time, and I did hold off the medication, but I got to a point where they said, listen, it's actually not going to heal if you're in pain. You know, if your body is in pain like that and inflamed, you know what I mean, you're not going to, you know. So I had to take a codeine based painkiller, and yeah, and but like, you know, like you, Danny, it was for the shortest of periods of time, and I was always assessing it and going. I wasn't looking for, like, you know, to be floating around the place like totally pain free. I was just looking to be able to be mobile. I was looking to be like not in agony, that my body could heal and I could do that. And you know, I was honest with my doctor about it. I was honest with my partner about it, like, you know what I mean, just to be sure, you know what I mean. But like, it's like everything. I think the way the three of us kind of look at things is, you know, you just be reasonable about these things. You do take your precautions. You don't be, like, you know what I mean, blasé about it either.
I used to be very anti it. I used to be until I ran into some serious trouble, like that I needed medication. You know, that kind of way. And I used to be very anti it, and it was a last option for me in the past with something. And you know, I kind of changed my view on it. It was like, that sorted me out, you know.
Yeah, and of course, and it's like all it really comes down to is, it's not a black and white issue. You know what I mean?
No, it's really not a black and white issue, and it pisses me off sometimes the way some people. Now, I spoke to you about this the other day. Not everyone, but some people, and I've experienced it. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of look at it as a black and white issue, and that does piss me off. You know.
And I suppose by saying it's not black and white, it's not black and it's not white, like, so it's not just like, yeah, fuck it, there's no consequences to taking anything, or there's the case of, like, you know what I mean, of course there are times in conjunction with a doctor that you have to take shit, you know what I mean?
I think the biggest key is, more so than whatever about being honest with other people, is how are you being with yourself? You're being honest with yourself.
Honest,
why are you taking this?
Yeah.
Like, ask you, like, deeply, why are you taking it? Are you taking it to kill the pain? Or or you're taking it because you like the feeling it's giving you when you take it. And for me, it was
get fucked.
for me, it was like I had I didn't want to
getting back injuries, like, you know what I mean? No, slap me again there, man. Yeah, that's why you're going back to MMA. You know what I mean?
I want to get another back injury.
Been out to the doctor. Hey, back is gone again, buddy.
Yeah, but it's like it was to the point like you, man. I was lying in my bed, man, and to get out of bed, I'd have to kind of shuffle my feet round to drop them onto the ground, just so because I couldn't move. I had no power.
The fear when you're doing it, you're just waiting for a shot of pain.
Yeah.
Like,
when my ribs were broken, right, I'd feel a sneeze coming on.
Oh, yeah.
I'd nearly start crying.
Panic, yeah.
I'd nearly start crying. There's times I remember standing in a shop, even when they were nearly healed, even when they were better, and I'd feel that sneeze coming on. I'd be like, oh no. And I'd nearly break down with the pain that was going to happen. You know, it's fucking
does
nasty.
it hurt? Does it hurt? Only when I laugh.
Oh,
don't fucking make me laugh. That's what we're saying. Just don't fucking make me laugh, man. This is killing me just to move this dude.
The first time I got a break, I lay on the couch for 3 days. Literally, I couldn't breathe properly. I found the one space. I found the one place that I could actually lie where it didn't hurt to breathe. And I had to stay there for 3 days. That was nasty, man. That was... Yeah. It's no joke breaking the ribs or anything around that area. I can imagine the back was just... Oh, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it, to be honest, man.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, for me anyways, that was fucking horrible. The ribs, I've had the ribs broken twice as well. That's horrible, and just had little fucking bits and pieces. Like
the ribs are a massive inconvenience, aren't they?
Oh man, Jesus, yeah. And I was pure tick, you know what I mean, like about the break. Like I was like, I broke it like completely in two, right? And the doctor said to me, rest for 2 months. I rested for 2 weeks and went sparring and broke it again.
Jesus that's the one thing I didn't do now. I didn't go back straight away.
I was lifting weights after a week, man. Like, I'll be all right, be all right. Like, I was an idiot. Like, and my trainer's like, what are you doing, man? Are you mental? Like, I says, I'll be all right, man. It's all right.
And you, of course, said yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But talking about being honest with yourself is an interesting one, and consistency and all that when you're talking about that sort of stuff. And I was thinking back, and one of the things that kind of came to me the last while, and it was very much about what was said on the podcast with John Gibbons and about being integral to yourself, you know what I mean, true to yourself. And it's something that, you know, this fucking app I was telling you about, and the ego, and where you're, you know, where I was like, I had got up to like 300 and something consecutive days
of meditation.
Without what I've 330 with at least doing one, but 300 and something of every day doing the same meditation. And I was like, fucking, you know, super proud of it, blah, 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 blah. So I think it was last Sunday or the Sunday before, I fucking forgot, yeah? And Monday I woke up and I was like, why hasn't that added? Oh, fuck, I forgot to do it yesterday. So little fucking sneaky Daniel in the back of the head goes, sure, you can log it anyway. Sure, didn't you sit at one stage during the day for 5 minutes? Fucking, you know what I mean? So I logged it, right? And I was like, here now, that's not being true to myself at all. Do you know what I mean? You're lying to yourself. Just have this consecutive day. And I was like, and that's not even fucking spiritual. What the fuck, yeah? So I literally took it off, like, and I had to start again. You know what I mean? But that was, you know.
I got to tell you a better one, because I was actually going to ask you, Danny, you're after reminding me, right? What you kind of bad and all at not being consistent at. I'm going to tell you one better. Like, you're shitting on yourself, right, over 300 days, and then you were going to, like, you know what I mean, log into yourself, right? I was like 10 to 12, right, on a night when I totally forgotten all day and I was watching some movie, right, and next minute I just went, oh, fuck. I haven't meditated, so I logged onto it, and the meditation was going while I was watching the movie. Next minute I went, no, and my partner was like, "What's that?" I said, "Nothing." You know,
you're watching the movie, are you? I've been just having a quick meditate.
Movie meditation.
So your level of spirituality there, Danny, it's it's on a different level altogether.
It's the movie's good, is it? I have been watching it kind of in the middle of a meditation session.
Meditation.
The little fucking dong.
Yeah.
I have that set up for my messenger messages, you know.
Yeah. But no, so that'll tell you. So I was even struggling.
If you want to do it again, man, you know what I mean, and you can actually log a meditation if you haven't done it on the time. So if I didn't do that, that's what I did. So if I didn't do I didn't do the meditation yesterday, but I didn't do it with the app. Or I didn't do it at all. But if I hadn't have done it, but I'd done it without the app, I can log the meditation anyways.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
You wouldn't actually have to run it.
I was actually wondering, did you ever cheat? Did you ever just go? No.
And that was the first time I thought about cheating. Oh, I'd already cheated, and I'd done the cheat, and I was like, and I couldn't sit with it, man.
I'm just a bad person, you know what I mean?
Did you go drinking over, Tanny?
I did, yeah. Fucking I went on the last man a week after. Like, fuck that meditation. I went into a meeting after and says, you know, I relapsed because of that fucking meditation app. I'm fucking blaming Insight Timer.
Ran the business into the ground in the whole.
Oh, I did, yeah, man. The place is wrecked. There's all sorts of shit going on here, man. The police are fucking looking for me, the whole lot. I span the wheel of misfortune.
We turned the shop into a brothel.
I made a deal with the guy next door. Fucking hell, yeah. No. Yeah, it's just fucking. I was just thinking when I said that, it brought me back to. I remember when I started getting a conscience, man. When I gave up drink, and I remember the first time I did something. My conscience started coming back. I fucking drank a can of Coke, yeah. And I fucked it into the hedge and walked. And I walked. And I must have walked a good fucking 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, fuck. I can't leave that there. I walked all the way back. Took the fuck. And that was like my first. I remember years and years ago that happened. It was in Athlone at the time. I think it was about 3 months, 4 months, or maybe 6 months off the drink and drugs. And I was like, walked all the way back, and then I picked up the can, and there was all this other rubbish in there, and then I felt guilty about that. Started picking up.
I remember being that strict on myself, right? But I remember I was like that because I really didn't want to drink or take drugs or anything like that, you know. So the whole thing, I remember the key to it is honesty.
Yeah.
There was actually a good feeling from it, wasn't it? Like, you know, if you haven't been living great for a while, you know what I mean,
exactly,
and you've been feeling shit about yourself, and next minute someone gives you extra change in the shop, you walk out, you cop it, and you go, no, and you just walk back, you hand it in, and you fucking feel like, you know, it's a big, like, what would you say, self-esteem boost.
You're right.
That you do need, you know?
That's what it comes down to. So, you know, you've done the right thing, you know?
Yeah, and it feels good, man.
Because after been living a life of doing the absolute wrong thing, of self-will, running riot and doing whatever the fuck whenever you wanted, like, and then small little things, because that was the key, man. I'm telling you, like, initially it's the small little things in life, the small little changes. It's like when we're talking about money, Mick, right? You know, mind the pennies and the pounds mind themselves, that kind of thing. So I think it's kind of this similar in that sense. Is like the honesty part of it. It's just the small little things along the way, you know, which actually contribute to, I think, anyway, when I think back to the biggest changes, you know. Yeah,
because you can get like, you know, you can get transfixed on the big picture, you know, where I'm at with this career, all this stuff, but your general day-to-day stuff, you know, those little things that like kind of add up over a day, negative or positive, you know what I mean? They can ultimately be the big things that like whether you sit down and meditate for 10 minutes, whether you sit down for half an hour and do some writing, whether you go to the gym for an hour, whether you do these, you know, these things along the way, whether you hand back the change in the shop that you've been given extra, all those things are what adds up to how you feel about yourself, you know.
I think you just figure yourself out eventually, you know, the kind of along the way.
I'll tell you when I get there.
No, fuck that, man. Come on.
No, it's true, man. No, in fairness.
You're never truly there, but I mean, in comparison to where you were 5 weeks ago, it's another fucking level, you know, that kind of way.
Absolutely.
But you are always like because of this journey, you do become. You're always, for me anyway, I'll speak for myself, I'm always like looking to improve areas of my life, like self-improvement, like there's things I'm watching at the moment that I'm thinking, okay, this is the old way you're thinking, or you're doing this, you know what I mean? Like for me at the moment, I'm trying to improve people pleasing, you know what I mean? I have an awful habit of doing something I don't want to do just to make another person happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then getting a fucking resentment because I've done it, like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm watching myself, and actually I don't want to fucking do this. Why am I actually saying what I want this person to fucking hear? And just being, you know, trying to be more true to myself on that basis, and it's a fucking struggle for me.
It is,
moment,
man.
you know?
One like, and it's like
fear around it.
It's and again, Danny, just from my experience, that because I like struggled massively with that. You know what I mean? It wasn't true to myself, and you know, would do ridiculous things. You know what I mean, to please people and stuff like that. And it's like one of the most freeing things I ever learned to do was to say no. Like, and just to actually understand that it's okay to say no. You know, just because the words come from somebody else's mouth does not mean that I am obliged to do it. You know what I mean? This is just a very, it sounds very simple, but when you're in that kind of pattern or that kind of, but it's a dishonest way to live, you know, and that's the way it was kind of explained to me, you know. In one way, it's manipulative. You know, you're trying to manipulate people into liking you more by being dishonest, you know what I mean? And it's like, but when ultimately people respect and like you more, the ones that matter anyway, definitely, from you being true to yourself, you know what I mean? No one respects, no one really truly likes somebody that isn't true to themselves and who doesn't like go. And a part of that is, no, actually, I'm not free to do that, or no, actually, that doesn't suit, you know, no, whatever, you know, and it's, but it's difficult. 100%, man. It's so difficult, but it's a worthwhile journey. Absolutely.
It's an interesting one, man, and I've just, like, on a lot of levels at the moment, I'm making a lot of decisions based on that. You know, is this what I want? Is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to do? Instead of going, oh, if I say that, it's going to fucking create friction, or it's going to piss this person off, or it's going to, you know what I mean? Well, hold on. What do I want? I mean, not to the level of like it's all about me and selfish shit, but like, I mean, you know, not bending over just to make other people happy and just saying, you know, I'm going to do this just to fucking keep the peace, whereas it's something that's going to affect my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm quite good at saying no. I know, it's probably too much the other way, you know, like, but it's like when people used to invite me to weddings and stuff, man, you know, like Irish weddings. Now, we've spoke about this before, you know, about weddings, and I really fucking hated them. I mean, I hate them with a passion. They're too long. It's too much drinking, and it's not even the fact. It's like, when I say too much drinking, I mean everyone's cool for a few hours, and then it just gets, I can't listen anymore, you know, that kind of, and then I'm tired, I'm contrary. I just want to kick back, go to my room, hit the computer for a little while, make some cool shit, and it's like a meditation, right? I just, you know, and now it's just like, nah, you're grand, you know, that kind of, and I don't really get invited to much stuff anymore because of it, you know. But yeah, so I have to try find the other way of you. I have to take other people into consideration.
You just need to find a heart, you know, just kind of just.
Ah,
I have gone pretty fucking cold.
You can feel it from here, man. Fucking Tenerife's cooler since we had the conversation.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I have to go. I just realised it's heading for it's 6:30 Irish time here. So, but it's been an absolute pleasure, lads.
As always, and
nice one, boys.
Just we'll run out there and just where people, and just I have to say, sorry, a couple of people did contact us. I haven't brought up, I forgot in the podcast. You'll be mentioned in the next one, guys. Thanks a million for your feedback, and you can get us on 3drylads@gmail.com. That's number 3drylads@gmail.com. And if you have any feedback or questions or anything, please do drop us a line.
Mick answers all the emails, so you get bangs of inspiration and hope and reply. He's really good at it, very articulated. And
that's a complete lie. But
you get us on Instagram at That's Good Crack. It's been, That's Good Crack podcast. It's been I have people to get back to on it, so it's me that does be on that one, Colin. But I just want to give a girl a shout out because we keep meaning to have her on the podcast, man. It's she does these sober vacations in Spain, and they look really fucking cool. I can't remember her name specifically, but I know her Instagram name is We Love Lucid.
Nice name.
We Love Lucid. So Lucid, Lucid. Check it out on Instagram. It's I've been following her stuff on it. It's pretty cool. She does these sober holidays, adventure kind of things in Spain. So if you're thinking of anyone listening to it and interested in it, have a look. But if she's listening, we definitely want to get her on the podcast soon. It just hasn't. We have been very unorganized recently. Hopefully, when things calm down work-wise, we can get things organized properly again, you know.
I'd like to give a shout out to Martin, who's been listening to our podcast as well and started using Insight Timer because of it. And, he's just coming up to 6 months off drinking drugs. You know what I mean? So
wow, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'd just like to give a shout out to Jesus. Without him, none of this would be possible.
So, you know him too.
I had a neighbour once and his name was Jesus.
Jesus
Rodriguez.
What's his name actually? Jesus
Rodriguez.
Or Jesus.
No, genuinely.
Did he go around saying I'm Jesus?
No, but I used to go around saying Jesus is my neighbour.
I like it.
Yeah, a little bumper sticker on the
car. Jesus is my neighbour.
All right, boys.
Until next time, amigos.
Nice. Keep it country.
Peace.
Don't forget to subscribe to That's Good Crack on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever you're listening to it right now.